Hello, I'm Edward Roski, and welcome to the AI News. We're here for those intelligent people who only have time to deep dive into AI for a few minutes every so often, but always want to look smarter than they are about AI. On December 11th, 2025, OpenAI released GPT 5.2, and on literally the exact same day, Google announced their most powerful research agent. And that is December 2025 in one sentence. Every punch from one lab gets a counterpunch from another one, because no one wanted to end 2025 behind. We got more consequential, long term, lasting, impactful AI news in 31 days than most years produce in 12 months. So December opened with a sprint, and we're going to count the moves. What made it impressive that on December 11th, OpenAI released GPT 5.2 was that this was their fastest turnaround ever from one model to the next one. It had three model tiers: instant for speed, thinking for complexity, pro for maximum accuracy. So why the rush? Well, as we talked about back in November, Sam Altman issued an internal code red memo after Google's Gemini 3 topped all the benchmarks last month, and OpenAI was behind, and they couldn't stay there. So the claims from GPT 5.2 are that it beats or ties human professionals on 71% of the knowledge work tasks that those professionals normally do across 44 different occupations. And whether that's true depends on which benchmark you believe. Maybe you're trusting Ella Marina, and Google Gemini 3 Pro is still on top. Whether OpenAI is back on top depends on how long top lasts. These days, it's less than a week. And what I'm sure is a complete coincidence, hours after GPT 5.2 dropped, Google announced Deep Research, which was their autonomous agent that doesn't just answer questions, it plans research, it executes searches, it identifies gaps, and then it tries again. It got top performance on humanity's last exam. If that really is humanity's last exam, we're basically all doomed. It got 66% on their new Deep Search QA benchmark. December 11th was the most consequential single day in AI since December of 2022 when ChatGPT launched. Two frontier releases, same calendar day. And Google's message is reasoning matters, but giving it time to do the research matters more. So let's talk about fast releases of new models. 6 days after that, Google released Gemini 3 Flash, which is a faster, cheaper version of their flagship model. It's now the default model for Google AI mode worldwide. This is essentially Google's GPT 4.0 play. You just make the best model accessible to everyone, not just premium users, get everyone comfortable and liking it. There were multiple Google releases in 1 week, and I'll talk about one more in a second. The pace isn't sustainable, but it's arguably also not optional. December 19th, my favorite tool of the moment, Notebook LM, upgraded to Gemini 3 Pro with Nano Banana Pro, and they added data tables, which is the ability to turn any source into structured, exportable spreadsheets. Your output types now include audio overviews, which is your basic podcast format where the two people talk back and forth to each other, video overviews where you have images backing up what they're talking about, mind maps, reports, flashcards, quizzes, infographics, my favorite part of Notebook LM at the moment, slide decks, and now data tables. Everybody was demanding that they upgrade to Gemini 3 so they could get Nano Banana Pro. They said it was 3 times more requested than anything else. Notebook LM keeps quietly becoming the most useful AI product that not a lot of people seem to know about. If you don't know about it, please go look it up. It is doing more to displace PowerPoint than any tool I have seen in years. December 18th, OpenAI released GPT 5.2 Codex, which is a specialized model for professional coding and cybersecurity, does long context understanding, reliable tool calling, native compaction for extended sessions without losing context, which is kind of an idea that Claude Code had premiered. This is OpenAI acknowledging you can't just use one model to win at everything. You might need a specifically tuned model just to, for instance, help coding. Specialists are coming in the large language model world. And all these new models, this whole arms race, it costs money. And in December, we got to learn where some of that money went. In a lot of cases, it went back and forth between everybody to each other. Disney announced a $1 billion investment in OpenAI. They licensed over 200 characters for Sora video generation. Mickey Mouse, Iron Man, Darth Vader, the characters from Frozen, Encanto, Toy Story. No direct talent likenesses, no voices, but everything else. Because the biggest media company in the world decided that AI video generation is inevitable. And if you can't beat it, well, hell, invest $1 billion in it. So Hollywood spent most of 2025 fighting AI, and Disney spent December buying into it. December marked the end, theoretically, of the NVIDIA Intel rivalry. NVIDIA finalized a $5 billion investment in Intel, which to NVIDIA I think is rounding error. It, in exchange, secured access to Intel's packaging facilities in Arizona and Ohio. Intel, a lot of news recently, 25,000 jobs cut, a new CEO, Gaudi 3 nowhere to be found. Intel is now serving NVIDIA's manufacturing needs. And NVIDIA, with 90+% market share in the GPU space, is worried about supply constraints. And when your biggest competitor suddenly becomes your supplier, the market is definitely reshuffling. We closed 2025 with $202 billion invested in AI, which is up 75% from the prior year when people said it can't actually get any bigger. AI captured nearly half of all global funding. And of that, 79% went to US companies. OpenAI is at a $500 billion valuation. Anthropic in December is at $183 billion valuation after a $13 billion raise, but there's rumors it's about to do another one, valuing it at $350 billion. SoftBank's $40 billion OpenAI investment. Money is flooding into AI. Whether it generates returns, that's 2026's problem. December just added a few more billion to the pile, just in case. December also brought the safety questions that nobody wants to answer. Hey, I'm up here in the top left on this story, so I don't overlap that report card. So the Future of Life Institute released their winter 2025 AI Safety Index. Every major lab scored a D or worse on existential safety for the second consecutive year. On the overall grades, Google got a C, OpenAI and Anthropic tied at a C+, woo. Meta and xAI got a D, Apple got a, why are they not on this? Oh yeah, who am I kidding? Apple isn't in the AI conversation these days. In the words of Max Tegmark, the AI industry is the only industry making powerful technology that's less regulated than sandwiches. The companies racing towards AGI can't pass their own safety tests, and nobody seems terribly curious about fixing it right now. The EU has published its first draft code of practice for AI content labeling. All outputs must be machine readable as artificial. Deepfakes must be visibly labeled. You must have a standard AI icon. At least there was one proposed for European disclosure. Final rules will be out by June of 2026. Enforcement will happen by August. Europe is writing the AI rulebook. America is starting nuclear power plants back up. Both strategies might be necessary. Neither is sufficient. I don't know how you and I celebrate the end of the year, but if you're the richest man on earth, you have your XAI company sue California over AB 2013, which is a law requiring AI companies to disclose training data. The argument from XAI is it violates trade secrets, First Amendment, compelled speech. The irony, of course, is that Musk has been talking all over the place about how AI should be fully open, and it kind of impacts Musk's company's actual legal strategy. The stakes are that if California's transparency law falls, then the fight probably moves to Congress to figure it out. And December's lawsuits set up 2026's precedences. Speaking of fun legal things, December escalated the copyright battle into an all-out copyright war. Journalist John Carreyrou and 5 other authors sued Google, OpenAI, Meta, xAI, Anthropic, Perplexity. The first lawsuit I could find that named xAI. The plaintiffs are proceeding individually, not as a class action, so the tech companies can't settle this cheaply. There are now 50 plus AI copyright lawsuits pending in federal courts. We talked about a big one back in September. Anthropic settled for 1.5 billion in a copyright battle where it actually said they could use purchased works as training material, but they couldn't pirate it. These cases have teeth and there's a lot of money at stake. December proved they're not stopping. Adobe, for instance, got sued for allegedly using pirated books. We really have to have a conversation about that, companies, to train its Slim LM model. Let's think about that for a second. Adobe, the company that sells creative tools to creatives, is accused of pirating creative work. Nobody in AI is safe from copyright claims. December wasn't just enterprise competition, consumer AI had its moment too. OpenAI rolled out the Your Year for ChatGPT, which is familiar with it, kind of like Spotify Wrapped, but for your AI conversations. Personalized stats, AI generated poems, custom awards like Creative Debugger. That same week, we got faster image generation, new personalization controls. OpenAI isn't just building technology, they're trying to build a consumer brand, and their strategy is showing. My favorite humorous moment of the month came when Tesla was demonstrating Optimus at a Miami showcase, and the robot was handing out water bottles, and it knocked them over. And then it raised its hands up in mock disbelief, kind of like this, and then it fell over backwards. The speculation is that the movement looked a whole lot like a VR teleoperator, like if you think of the motion, it kind of looks like a human removing a VR headset. Musk posted a kung fu video claiming that was AI and not teleoperated. Tesla has reportedly built hundreds of these Optimus units against a 5,000 unit goal. Humanoid robotics had an impressive but also humbling December, and the gap between demos and deployments is still pretty wide. In summary, December taught us three things. One, speed is the strategy. OpenAI and Google dropped different impressive models on the same day. Nobody announces without expecting a counterpunch. Two, the money is concentrating. Disney's billion, Nvidia, Intel's 5 billion, $202 billion in total, and a whole lot of it's going to the United States. Capital is picking winners. And three, safety and copyright are not solved. Every lab is failing safety tests. Every lab is facing lawsuits. And over December 2025, both problems became worse. We ended 2025 with a whole lot more questions than answers. And the companies racing fastest have the fewest plans for what happens when they actually arrive. As always, you can find me on LinkedIn. That's where that QR code over there takes you, and X/Twitter. My podcast, Asking Good Questions, is on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or you could even go to askinggoodquestions.co or just shoot me an email and ask me anything on your mind. I'm Edward Roski with the AI News, and until next time, keep asking good questions.